My beloved child, listen with a quiet heart for just a moment, because some words are meant to arrive only when the soul is finally ready to recognize them. There are seasons in life when nothing seems to move, yet beneath the silence, countless unseen moments are gently finding their place. This is one of those moments. Somewhere beyond your ordinary thoughts, someone who carries deep affection for you has reached a place where keeping everything inside no longer feels possible. The message they have wished to share is not loud, dramatic, or overwhelming. Instead, it is honest, patient, and filled with the kind of emotion that often waits until the perfect time to reveal itself. Don't skip, because what unfolds next may remind you of feelings you quietly placed aside long ago. Have you ever wondered why certain memories return without invitation, why familiar thoughts appear when everything else seems peaceful, or why your heart suddenly feels as though it recognizes a voice it has not yet heard? Sometimes those moments are simply invitations to pay closer attention to what has been growing quietly all along. Your soulmate has been carrying thoughts that were never meant to stay hidden forever. They have replayed conversations that never happened, imagined smiles they hoped to see again, and discovered that the more they tried to ignore what they felt, the clearer those feelings became. Yet the most surprising realization is not about how deeply they care, it is about what finally gave them the courage to stop waiting. Something important is waiting for you, and it is unfolding one careful step at a time rather than all at once. If everything were revealed immediately, its meaning would disappear before your heart had the chance to truly receive it. So allow this journey to move at its own gentle pace. Every quiet sentence brings you closer to understanding why this message feels different from all the others you have imagined before. And just as the first layer begins to lift, another unexpected truth quietly appears, one that changes the meaning of everything you have heard so far. Stay till the end, because this is only the beginning, and the next moment reveals why this message could not remain unspoken any longer. Not every answer arrives the moment you begin searching for it. Some wait until your heart has become calm enough to understand why they were delayed. As this quiet story continues, another piece gently falls into place. The person meant for you has reached a realization they never expected. They once believed time alone would explain everything, that silence would somehow carry the words they could not speak. But silence has its limits, and eventually even the quietest heart begins longing to be understood. That is where this message truly begins. They have found themselves returning to the smallest memories, the ordinary moments that somehow became unforgettable. A simple smile. A passing thought. A feeling that appeared without warning and refused to disappear. Those memories have become reminders that some connections are not measured by how often people speak, but by how deeply they continue to think of one another even when life moves in different directions. Every day brought another opportunity to let go, yet every day their heart quietly chose to hold on instead. Perhaps you have sensed something changing within yourself as well. Maybe there were moments when everything around you looked the same, yet inside, something felt different in a way you could never fully explain. Those quiet changes are often easy to overlook because they arrive without announcement. They simply settle into your heart until one day you realize you are no longer the same person you were before. The remarkable part is that your soulmate has finally stopped asking whether these feelings are real. Instead, they have begun asking a different question: what happens if they remain silent forever? That question has stayed with them longer than they ever imagined. It has followed them through peaceful mornings, quiet evenings, and countless ordinary moments, until they understood that some messages become heavier the longer they remain unsent. Stay with this unfolding journey a little longer, because the next truth has been waiting patiently. It is not a dramatic secret or an impossible promise. It is something far more meaningful, a realization that has quietly transformed the way they see both you and the path ahead. And when that realization is finally spoken, you will understand why they could no longer keep it hidden inside. A quiet shift has already begun, even if it is too gentle to notice at first. The heart often recognizes change long before the mind can explain it, and that is exactly where this story now leads. While everything on the outside appeared ordinary, your soulmate was experiencing a series of small realizations that slowly came together like pieces of a picture they had been trying to complete for a very long time. Each thought led to another, each memory carried a little more meaning, until they reached a moment they could no longer ignore. They finally understood that waiting for the perfect circumstances had only created more distance between what they felt and what they wished they had already said. There is never a flawless moment for honesty. There is only the quiet decision to stop hiding behind uncertainty. That decision did not happen overnight. It grew through reflection, through patience, and through countless moments when your presence crossed their mind in the simplest, most unexpected ways. Have you ever noticed how certain people leave an impression that doesn't fade, even after days become weeks and weeks become months? It is not because of grand gestures or unforgettable conversations. It is because something genuine remains. Your soulmate discovered that every attempt to move forward without acknowledging those feelings only brought them back to the same place, with a deeper appreciation for what your connection truly means. Don't skip. Because the next realization is where everything begins to feel different. They are no longer searching for perfect words that sound impressive. Instead, they have started hoping for words that are simply true. Sometimes the most meaningful message is not the longest one. It is the one spoken with complete sincerity, without fear of misunderstanding, without pretending to be stronger than they really are. As this journey continues, another quiet truth begins to emerge. They have realized that the message they have been carrying was never meant to change who you are. It was meant to let you know that your kindness, your quiet strength, and the way you move through life have left a lasting impression that time could not erase. That realization has become impossible for them to ignore. Stay till the end, because another layer is about to unfold. The words they have been holding back are closer than ever, and when they finally begin to surface, you will understand why this message feels as though it has been patiently waiting for exactly this moment to be heard. Just when it seems the story has revealed everything it can, another quiet doorway opens. This time, it is not built from memories alone, but from a choice that has been growing stronger with every passing day. Your soulmate has reached the point where holding back no longer brings peace. They have discovered that some feelings become clearer the longer they are carried, and some words become more meaningful because they were spoken with patience instead of haste. There was a moment, small enough that no one else would have noticed it, when they simply stopped and allowed themselves to be completely honest. In that silence, they realized they were no longer hoping life would somehow speak for them. They wanted their own heart to do it. That realization did not arrive with excitement or noise. It arrived with calm certainty, the kind that settles deeply and refuses to disappear. Perhaps that is why this message feels different. It is not trying to persuade you. It is not asking for immediate answers. It simply wishes to be understood. The more they reflected on everything they had experienced, the more they recognize that genuine connection is never built on perfect timing. It grows through sincerity, patience, and the willingness to finally say what has remained unspoken for far too long. Something important is waiting for you, and it is hidden within the quiet confidence they have finally found. They are no longer focused on what could have been. Their thoughts have gently shifted toward what can still become. That change has brought a peace they had been searching for without even realizing it. And with that peace came a message they could no longer keep locked inside. If your heart has ever wondered whether someone truly notices the little things about you, this part of the journey offers a gentle answer. They noticed your resilience when no one applauded it. They admired your kindness when it seemed ordinary to everyone else. They remembered moments you may have forgotten because those moments quietly became part of their own story. Remain with these words a little longer, because the message is drawing closer to its most meaningful point. The next step is not about dramatic surprises or impossible promises. It is about a simple truth that has finally become impossible for your soulmate to ignore, and once those words are spoken, the meaning behind every moment you've heard so far will begin to shine in a completely new light. There comes a moment in every meaningful story when silence is no longer empty. It begins carrying its own message. That is where this journey has arrived. Your soulmate has spent so much time searching for the perfect way to express what has been resting in their heart that they almost forgot the greatest words are rarely perfect. They are simply genuine. And that quiet realization has changed everything. For the first time, they stopped asking themselves, what if these words are not enough? Instead, they began asking, what if these words are exactly what has been waiting to be spoken? That single shift transformed the way they looked at every memory, every hope, and every possibility that still lies ahead. Suddenly, the future no longer felt like something distant. It felt like something that begins with one honest message. If you could see the way they now reflect on your connection, you would notice something beautiful. They no longer remember only the extraordinary moments. They treasure the ordinary ones just as deeply. The quiet conversations that never seemed important. The peaceful pauses where nothing needed to be said. The simple reminders that comfort often arrives without announcing itself. Those moments have become the foundation of everything they now understand. Don't skip, because another quiet realization is beginning to surface. Sometimes the heart waits not because it is uncertain, but because it wants to be absolutely sincere. Your soulmate has reached that place. They are no longer trying to impress you with remarkable words or unforgettable promises. They simply hope that when this message finally reaches you, you will recognize the honesty that has been growing behind every sentence they never had the courage to say before. And perhaps that is why your own journey has brought you here today. Life has a gentle way of placing meaningful moments before us only after we are ready to receive them. Looking back, you may discover that every delay, every unanswered question, and every unexpected turn quietly prepared this very moment. What once seemed like waiting now feels more like quiet preparation. Stay till the end, because the message is closer than it has ever been. There is one final layer your soulmate has yet to uncover. A realization so simple that it almost escaped their notice, yet so meaningful that once it is spoken, every piece of this journey will come together with a quiet sense of purpose that neither of you expected. Sometimes the most meaningful message does not begin with a confession. It begins with gratitude. Before your soulmate found the courage to imagine what tomorrow could hold, they found themselves appreciating everything this connection had already awakened within them. They realize that some people enter our thoughts for a moment, while others quietly reshape the way we see ourselves. You became that quiet difference without ever trying to. As they reflected on the path behind them, they noticed something they had overlooked for far too long. Every challenge had taught them patience. Every unanswered question had taught them understanding. Every season of waiting had gently prepared them to recognize what truly matters when it finally stands before them. Instead of seeing the delays as something lost, they began seeing them as part of a journey that was slowly leading them toward greater clarity. There was one evening when they simply allowed themselves to stop overthinking. No rehearsed conversations. No imagined outcomes. Just one honest thought settled into their heart: if this connection is as meaningful as it feels, then it deserves to be expressed with sincerity. That quiet sentence stayed with them long after the moment had passed. It became the beginning of a new kind of courage, one that does not rush, but also no longer hides. Something important is waiting for you, not because it changes everything in an instant, but because it helps you understand everything that came before. The message your soulmate wishes to share is no longer shaped by uncertainty. It is shaped by appreciation, respect, and a quiet hope that what has been growing in silence can finally be welcomed into the light. You may have noticed that this journey has never been about dramatic twists. It has been about recognizing the gentle moments that often carry the deepest meaning. Those are the moments your soulmate now holds closest. They believe the strongest connections are built through kindness, trust, and the willingness to remain genuine even when life offers no guarantees. Stay with this story just a little longer, because the next chapter draws closer to the heart of everything. One final realization is beginning to unfold. A realization that explains why this message feels so urgent, not because time is running out, but because some words become too meaningful to remain unspoken any longer. When those words finally arrive, the quiet thread connecting every part of this journey will become beautifully clear. A gentle certainty has now replaced every question that once filled the silence. Your soulmate is no longer standing between hesitation and hope. They have crossed into a place where the heart speaks more clearly than fear ever could. What once felt impossible to express has become surprisingly simple, because the truth has a way of becoming lighter the moment we stop hiding it. They have come to understand that meaningful connections are never measured by perfect timing or flawless circumstances. They are measured by the quiet willingness to show up with an open heart. That is why this message carries such calm strength. It is not asking life to rewrite the past. It is embracing the present with gratitude, believing that every experience has quietly led to this very point. Think for a moment about the unexpected turns your own journey has taken. There were days that made little sense while you were living them, yet looking back, each one gently guided you toward a deeper understanding of yourself. Your soulmate has experienced that same realization. The pieces they once believed were scattered now fit together with remarkable clarity, revealing a picture they could never have seen before. Don't skip, because the next few moments hold the quiet center of everything you've been hearing. There is one sentence they has carried within them for longer than they ever admitted. Not because it was difficult to say, but because they wanted it to reflect exactly what their heart had learned. After all the waiting, all the reflection, and all the silent conversations they held within themselves, those words have become beautifully clear. Their message is simple: thank you for being the kind of person who reminded me that genuine connection still exists. Whether through a single memory, a quiet thought, or the hope of what tomorrow may bring, you have left a mark on my heart that continues to inspire me to become a better version of myself. Those words are not meant to overwhelm you. They are meant to honor the quiet influence that kindness can have on another person's life. As those feelings finally find their voice, something remarkable begins to happen. The urgency that once surrounded this message slowly transforms into peace. Not because the journey is ending, but because the truth no longer has to remain hidden. And yet, there is still one final piece waiting to be revealed. A gentle realization that explains why this message arrived at exactly this moment, and why its deepest meaning is still just ahead. The final piece does not arrive with a loud announcement. It comes as quietly as the first heartbeat of a new morning, reminding you that the most meaningful endings often feel like beautiful beginnings. As your soulmate's message reaches its fullest expression, one truth rises above every other thought they have carried along this journey. They have realized that love is not proven through perfect words or extraordinary moments. It is revealed through consistency, patience, and the quiet choice to care, even when no one is watching. That understanding has changed the way they see you. They no longer focus on who they hoped you would become. They appreciate who you already are. Your kindness, your resilience, your gentle spirit, and your ability to keep moving forward have become qualities they admire more deeply than they ever expected. If this message has found its way to you today, let it be a reminder that meaningful connections often grow in ways we cannot immediately see. Some seeds remain beneath the surface for a long time before they bloom, yet every unseen day is still part of their growth. In the same way, every quiet lesson, every unexpected pause, and every hopeful step has carried its own purpose, even when the path seemed uncertain. The message your soulmate wished you to hear is wonderfully simple: never underestimate the quiet impact you have on the lives you touch. You are remembered for your warmth, appreciated for your authenticity, and valued for the peace your presence brings. Those are not fleeting emotions. They are the kind that remain long after ordinary moments have passed. As this journey comes to its gentle close, notice how the urgency in the title was never about rushing your heart. It was about not allowing gratitude, honesty, and hope to remain unspoken. Some messages become important simply because they deserve to be shared while the opportunity is here. This was one of them. So carry these words with quiet confidence as you continue forward. Let them remind you that sincere connections are built one honest moment at a time, and that the most beautiful chapters are often the ones that begin after we choose openness over hesitation. The story does not truly end here. It simply leaves you standing at the edge of a new beginning, where every step ahead is guided by patience, authenticity, and the quiet belief that what is meant to grow will always find its season. As the path ahead becomes clearer, one final reflection gently settles into place. Every meaningful connection leaves us with something valuable, whether it arrives as a lasting relationship, a lesson that shapes our character, or a quiet reminder that hope is always worth carrying. Perhaps that is the true gift hidden within this journey. It has never been about predicting your future. It has been about helping you recognize the strength, compassion, and sincerity you already possess. There are moments when life seems to whisper instead of speak. Those whispers encourage us to slow down, appreciate the people who matter, and express gratitude before ordinary days quietly become cherished memories. If someone important has crossed your mind while listening to these words, let that feeling remind you that genuine care is one of life's greatest treasures. Honest conversations, thoughtful actions, and patient understanding have a way of creating opportunities that fear and hesitation never can. Stay with this thought for just a little longer. The next chapter of your story is not written by chance alone. It is shaped by the kindness you choose, the respect you offer, and the courage to remain authentic even when the road ahead is uncertain. Every sunrise brings another opportunity to become the person you hope to be, and every sincere choice adds another meaningful page to your own story. As this message gently fades into silence, carry one simple truth with you: the most extraordinary journeys rarely begin with dramatic moments. They begin with a quiet decision to lead with hope instead of doubt, gratitude instead of regret, and honesty instead of fear. Sometimes that single decision becomes the turning point you remember for years to come. And perhaps, without realizing it today, you have already taken the first step toward that beautiful new chapter. Even after the final words have been spoken, some messages continue to echo, not because they demand attention, but because they awaken something quietly meaningful within us. As you move beyond this moment, remember that the most valuable discoveries are often the ones that encourage you to see your own life with fresh eyes. There may come a day when an unexpected conversation, a familiar smile, or a simple act of kindness reminds you of everything this journey has explored. In that moment, you may realize that hope is not something we wait to find. It is something we choose to carry, even when the path ahead is still unfolding. That quiet choice has the power to shape ordinary days into unforgettable ones. Perhaps the greatest lesson hidden throughout this story is that meaningful relationships are not built through grand promises. They grow through patience, understanding, and the willingness to truly listen. Every sincere word, every thoughtful gesture, and every moment of compassion becomes part of a foundation that lasts far longer than excitement alone. As this chapter gently reaches its close, let your heart remain open to the possibilities that real life offers each day. The future is never revealed all at once. It unfolds conversation by conversation, choice by choice, and moment by moment. That is what makes every new beginning so valuable. It invites you to participate in creating it. So leave this story with quiet confidence. Let it remind you to appreciate the people who bring light into your life, to express gratitude while you have the chance, and to believe that authentic connections are strengthened through honesty and care. The next page of your journey has not been written yet, and that is its greatest beauty. It is waiting for the kindness you choose, the hope you keep alive, and the meaningful moments you are still yet to create.